Welcome everyone. We'll talk about CHRO to CEO, Chief Human Resource Officer to Chief Executive Officer. The concepts, the competencies, the challenges, what is this all meant to be? Let us understand the agenda. It is the definitions of the leadership, where we will be talking about the leadership, the management, the five levels of leadership. What is it that the future holds for the leaders in a position? CEO perspective, is HR going to assume the bigger role in driving growth, building better leaders, managing new leaders, and developing new leaders all the way? That is what we will be doing upon this discussion. Today, let me begin with the definition. Remember, leaders are all about influencing people. This is what we look into it. What does leader do? They influence people to get to a certain objective, certain goals, certain things. What does they do? Look into it to accomplish, to mission, to inspire commitment, and improve the productivity of the organization. So, yes, leadership is defined as a process of influencing people to accomplish the mission, inspire their commitment, and improving the organization. Yes, this particular pick would let you know what is to be understand. A boss would only give directions, issue orders, whereas a leader is a part of the team, will lead ahead, spearhead the team efforts thereby. So, leaders versus management is an army of sheep led by a lion is better than an army of lion led by a sheep. What do you want to go around it? Now, this tells you what is the quality of a leaders altogether carried forward. And that is what I would love all the audience of this particular videos to go across with it. Leader focuses on creating value, whereas counting value is what managers would be looking into it. Some even reduce the value for disabling those who add value. Why? Because that means undermining their position. So managers may be detrimental, whereas the circle of influences, leaders have followers, leaders create circle of influences, whereas managers are only circles of power. Power is all about subordinate. Power is all about circle creating an sense of superiority among their mind. Leading people about leaders is referring about individual abilities and influences to motivate, to enable others to contribute towards the organization's success. Whereas a manager's manage works, management consists of controlling a group or a set of entities to accomplish a group, and that is the difference between leadership and management. Thereby, let us talk about the five levels of leadership. Recollect right from the bottom. We begin as a position which might be about all about rights, because people follow what they have to. Then moves to the second permissions level of relationship. People follow because they want to, is it? So once they have to, and then they want to. On the other third level would be all about production. People follow because what you have done for the organization. It's just a tit for tat. If the organization has been good to them, the people will automatically be much better to the organization. Then comes something called the fourth step of people development. People follow because what you have done for them as on when on basis is not only reciprocation but enhance it. And the last level is pinnacle level. People follow because what you are, because what you represent, because what they think of you, what the amount of trust that they have it. So yes, the level one position of positive aspect is usually given to people because they have leadership potential. Means authority is recognized, means is an invitation to grow as a leader, allows potential leader to shape, define the leadership. Negative aspect is having leadership position is often misleading. Leaders who rely on positions to lead from devalue people. Positional leaders feed on politics. Positional leaders places rights over responsibilities. Positional leader is often more or less lonely. So you need to go about the positions part of it, be the positive aspect or count the negative aspect, and you will see the negative aspect counts are heavier than the positive. But on a permission level, now people are moving from managers to slowly and steadily bringing it to the level two, about being a collaborators of best behavioral. Connect with yourself before trying to connect with others. Develop people oriented leadership. Practice the golden rule. Treat others as you want others to treat you. Become the chief encourager of your team. People should look up to you. Strike a balance from care and candor, as in what to be done with people management or task management. Yes, this is a place where the fifth level or the third level of production comes around it. The law of respect. People naturally follow the leaders stronger than themselves. Definitely, yes, it's the goal of the example of sheep and the lion. The law of magnetism. Who you are is what you attract. If you have that charisma, if you have that personality, people are bound to follow you. The law of pictures. People do what people see. The law of victory. Leaders find ways for team to win. The law of big moves momentum is a leader's friend. The law of priorities, leaders understand that activity is not necessarily an accomplishment. Level 3 leaders do the right things the right way and the right time for the right reason. The law of sacrifices, a leader must be able to give it to go up. That is what we are looking for it. The law of buy-ins, people buy in into the leaders, then the visions as on when on basis. Bringing out the best is what we are looking at. The people development, the level 4. This space is where the 20% of the focus of the personal productivity counts around it. You have that belief in the leaders to move to the level number 5th. If you have the highest goal of leadership is to develop another leader, another person like you, and not probably develop a follower to do the work. To develop leaders, you must create a culture of leadership. Developing leaders is a commitment for life, are not a job commitment only. And out here is the epitome of the leadership, the pinnacle guide to your best levels is to remain humble, to remain teachable, to remain focus on your care, identify the core strength, write out the plan for making the most of it in coming years, create the right inner circles to keep you grounded. Do what only you can do. Create a supercharged leadership development environment. Create room at the top. Develop your top leaders. One on one mentoring. Plan your succession. Plan your legacy. You should try to go around for your leadership success. Remember, it is your future and it is only can be created by you. What you have done today and what you're going to do for tomorrow. That is what will set your ball rolling for your future. You are the creator of your own destiny as with your work with your today. And probably if you keep on shifting it for tomorrow, your destiny is to get spoiled around it. So future trends in leadership. If we look out here, if we are moving from gaps to gap, building leadership remains of paramount importance, ranking as number 2 in the year's surveys. Yet, despite the fact that nearly 9 out of 10 respondents cited the issue is important and not very important, the data also suggests that the organizations have made little or probably no progress at all in the last year. The capability gap for building great leaders has widened by around 5.8% in almost every region of the world. Only 6% of the company feel fully ready to address their leadership issues. Only 10% feel comfortable with their succession program, and less than 7% have a strong programs to build millennial leaders altogether. So, yes, the reasons why do we have so few leaders and not many? At the top of the corporate pyramid, fewer than 50% of the C-suite executive feel that they are receiving any development at all. Meanwhile, lower down the organization, just 6% of the survey responded that they have an excellent program in place to develop millennials. Absolutely dismissal performances, reports, and things needs to be taken up. On a serious note, lack of consistent investment. Many organizations view leaders as for the policies that comes around it. A weak leaders pipeline, there is nothing called succession. There is not been planned by the management, by no persons have been groomed. You need to take a strategic initiative of the HR function. Leadership has to be groomed, and probably only then we can look after a longer perspective for the plan to go around it. Let us look into the future trends of leadership. Solutions start with commitment. Commitment of developing leadership from the top at the top in the management, in the board of governors. Without CEOs, ownership, leadership development is likely never to get a long-term engagement. Answer the question: leadership for what? Be the conversation that you want to avoid. Begin it, discuss it, debate it, develop inclusive leaders at every level that I'm talking about it. While many executive worries only at the top rung positions, probably not. Why not mid-level leaders, first-level leaders actually operates a company and are the future strategic leaders of the organization? This requires focusing on growing segment of leaders such as millennial, global leaders, women, and tailoring development to their unique needs and preferences. Make talent development a succession a priority. Reward leaders for developing successors and sharing talent. Develop or leverage capability model. Build a framework for selection, assessment, development, and succession that defines the leadership you need for today and tomorrow. Keep the model simple. It should be a language for leadership across the enterprises. Extend boundaries to create new leadership, new development opportunities then and there. Work as a business partner. Work with the university. Work with non-government organization, any third-party organizations to create any kind of experiences for leadership, including a pro bono or let's say a community services. So from Chief Executive Officer's perspective, can HR take a bigger role? Probably yes. Why not? And look at what the picture I've shown it to you. The CEO perspective, is it finding? Probably things are not looking very bright, but probably yes. If the questions are there, we need to answer them as on when on basis. We need to go for it. And if you look into it, CEO's perspective says the leaders are 55% as a key player that comes around it. The what are the bigger rules that comes around it? Developing personal relationships. Head of HR can demonstrate their values by acting as a sounding board, as a rubber board, as a bouncing ball, to giving a feedback on the CEO's performances, ensuring that the senior executive teamwork is an effective as unit. It is a must requirement. The chief executive officer frequently need to entrust the work to the head of HR and the tasks thereby impressing a colleague with organization how the organization can be prepared to implement its strategies, pushing to be included in the board of directors, the executive committee. This is how the head of HR develops a relationship, gains relevancy, focuses on the right topic. The head of HR needs to be probed into the issues that really matters to both the chief executive officers, the chief financial officers. Demonstrating creative, proactive problem solving on these issues will demonstrate a clearly value of head of the HR. Taking initiative, both the chief executive officers and the chief finance officers. What do we go around it? Want the head of the HR to go work for it? Probably, probably not. Selecting better leaders. The secret of change is to focus all your energies and not fighting the old, but building the new one. This is what Socrates said few centuries back. Again, the secret is to focus your energies into the new initiative rather than fighting your old demons per se. Building better leaders, the 13 behaviors. Let us wind this particular things with all the 13 things. Talk straight. Look for three things in hiring people. The first is personal integrity. Second is intelligence. And the third is high energy level. And if you can do half it, if you don't even have the first, second, two don't matter. The third of high energy level is a must. Demonstrate respect. If people you know you care, it brings out the best in them. That's what the Richard Branson says around it. Create transparency. Trust happens when leaders are transparent. Right wrongs, what I call level 5, leaders can build enduring greatness through a paradoxical blend of personal humility and professional will, as the case might be. Show loyalty. If you want to retain those who are present, be loyal to those who are absent. This is the key to many, as the one has been founded around it. Never, I again repeat, never say bad words, meant bad things for people at their back. Deliver result, get good people, get expect them to perform, terminate them quickly and fairly. If you make the wrong choices as on when on basis, absolutely nothing wrong in it. Let us talk with the getting better. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or probably write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn is what Alvin Toffler says. Confront reality. Leaders needs to be more candid with those that they purposely lead. Sharing good news is easy when it comes to more troublesome negative news. Be candid. Take responsibility. Don't withhold unpleasant possibilities. Don't pass off the bad news to the subordinates. Clarify expectations as on when on basis. Almost every conflict is a result of violated expectations. Practice accountability. Remember what when you are making a great leader, you aren't going to give a crown. You were given a responsibilities of bringing out the best in others. For that, your people need to trust you. Let us come to the last three of them. Is listening first. Nothing beats a personal two-way communication. But for fostering commitment and teamwork and building attitude of trust and understanding people, this is what we need to go around it. Listen first. Keep commitment. Trust means doesn't mean that you tell everything. It doesn't mean that you they don't foster, but it also means that we will do this and we will do that. It is credible, it is integrity. What you say, you mean. You should inward walk the talk. Last word is extend trust. I have found that by trusting people until they have proven themselves unworthy of that trust is a lot more happier than anything else as far as Johnson and CEOs is concerned. Let us look into what Mahatma Gandhi, the great Indian leader, said. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, and then they fight you. And that is the point when you will start winning. Again, repeating in the things. First, they ignore you. They will think they will categorize you as a mad fellow. Then they will laugh at you, probably look at it as a trivial matters. Then they start fighting your ideologies, your processes. They start vehemently opposing you, and probably that was the signage of them getting defeated and you making a winning position. Yes, so managing a new leaders are the few couple of slides that I want to wind up before I wind up this presentation. First and foremost is attract and recruit the right talent. Make sure provide a good induction courses. Remember, this is when we look into it. Having a good induction means introductions about the company and yourself. Manage expectation, conduct behaviors. What is expected? There about manage teams and approaching projects, manage young people, any age diverse teams, then probably go for make suring of the starters is the basic part of it. Establish and communicate the objectives very early on. Build a trusting relationships. Last but not the least would be retaining and engaging the right talent thereby. Remember that developing a new leaders, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, please, please, please keep on moving forward. This is what Martin Luther King Jr. said. At no stages can you lose hope. At no stages can you lessen effort. So start gradually. Recognize this talent and progression as on when on basis. Revisit, review, and objectives on the regular basis. Delegate more efficiently. Once you have done it, help the young people to link activities complete to the skills and obtain. Provide a mentor, wider the peer group, peer support. Encourage young employees to identify and develop the skills as and when on the leaders comes around it. Encourage them to outside their comfort zone, come up them, bring it out from them and see how they are performing. If done in a nice fashion, reward them appropriately. Encourage an open and honest discussions, communication, and feedback. And last but not the least would be fostering innovation thinking. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. I understand you will have understood everything about leaders, which is what are the elements of leadership, what is it that makes them a leader click, what are the five levels of leadership, and also the future trends which is it beholds. Thank you once again for watching this video.